goals of an entity. Long-term goals of an entity. I remember that we still mentioned that no matter the length and breadth of English that they use in defining strategy, it must include attainment of long-term objective or goals. And it must be something that's specifically designed to achieve those goals. Subsequently, we come to levels of strategy, and we said, according to Jones, Scholes, and Whittington, we have three major levels of strategy. Now we discuss corporate strategy, which is strategy for the whole of the entity that serve the reason why the entity comes to be. Then we discuss business strategy, which is referred to as competitive strategy. And we mentioned again that according to Michael Porter, said this strategy can be achieved by the use of orders of strategy in competition or competitive environment, which is leadership, cost leadership and differentiation. Cost leadership and differentiation. Now, by this, we move to functional strategy. Functional strategy, which is the strategy designed to achieve correlation of activities at each level of functions. I still mentioned that depending on the type of the entity, function differs. We certainly can use an entity without a unit or a function called finance. So you can have finance as a function, you can have IT as a function, you can have sales and marketing as a function, you can have manufacturing and function, IT, and so on and so forth. Now you should remember that when we are discussing corporate strategy, we mentioned 5 elements. We mentioned 5 elements. One of them is to decide the purpose of the entity. The other one is to decide the scope. Decide the scope, then matching the scope of those chosen business activities with external environment and resources availability. Then that purpose activity match them with organization's expectations of the owners. Then lastly, that of other stakeholders. And that's when we left that environment to analysis of stakeholders in business, because we just discussed stakeholder now under corporate strategy. So when we say stakeholders, who and what do we mean? We mean somebody or legally or illegal entity, artificial or real person, who is affected or going to be affected by action or inaction of an entity. So that effect is what we the same thing as stake. So that one refers to them as stakeholder. And because the thinking cannot be parallel on any group of stakeholders like others, so there's a need to decide our thinking by analyzing who and who they are. How are we going to be thinking about them? How are we going to worry about each of the group when we want to make decision as an entity? So that's what led us to the use of Mendel's matrix to analyze stakeholders. We use Mendel's matrix to analyze stakeholders. And we mentioned the Mendel's matrix collate and evaluate the different type of stakeholders that an entity have and categorize them into 4 for the management to know how best to prepare, how best to be worried about any of the group of those stakeholders whenever they want to make decision making. And we said that the factors that was engaged by Mr. Mendelo is power and interest. Power and interest. So I've said that when you have those one on your axis, like the one we have in our notes, by the vertical axis, what we call y-axis, by the left, you will have power. On the horizontal axis, on the top, we have interest. And by juxtaposing both one as being low or high, you can have those category of stakeholders. Do we get that in mathematics that day? Can anybody remember that we have the mathematics to know how can you get a key player? How can you get keep informed? How can you get keep satisfied? How can you get minimal effort? You are trying to establish an arithmetic in case you change the position of your high and low. Because in our diagram here, we have low, both of them on the top. The one by the left of the vertical axis, that one is not in agreement with the regular law of integers on y or x axis. But for this matrix, it worked. So we have low, low on top left. And left to down. So you have low, then you have high. So they're going to have high and low up. So if you have that now, the position of those group in the quadrant will be different. You take that arithmetic to know that, okay, when you have high power plus high in. So we didn't get it done. If you didn't get it done that day, let's get it done now. So high power plus high interest gives us key players, KP. Then high power plus low interest give us keep satisfied. High power plus low interest give us keep satisfied. Then you have low power but plus high interest give us keep informed. Keep informed. Then when we have low power and low interest, they are referred to as minimal effort. Minimal effort. For the benefits of the function in the network last class, so I choose to repeat who and who are in those groups this evening. Then subsequently we go to environmental analysis. So when we say we have key players, who are they? Key players are those set of stakeholders, irrespective of their capacity, that have high power, they still have high interest, meaning that whenever any decision attack their interest is against their stake, they will revolt, and they have power to make revolt, and they can implement changes. So more often than not, the management are always worried about them. Whenever they want to make decisions that affect them, they consider their interest. At times, they will call them to a meeting before they make the decision. Otherwise, they will have made a lot of provision for them. So management really needs to keep ahead and keeping them happy always, so they will not spoil the game for them. I remember in those days, before this multitude of streams of petroleum in Nigeria, we used to have petroleum drivers organizations, if they call them. Whenever anything affects the chairman or any of their members, they are going on strike. And whenever they go on strike for 2 weeks, Nigeria may suffer that one. For 3 days, Nigeria may suffer it for 2 weeks. And immediately government will call them. That is to show that they have power to intervene with the decision of the money. So that's just an example. Now the second group we have is what we call keep satisfied. Power with the key players. With the key players. Now, they don't want to, or they are not willing, they are not interested in using that power, even when their interest is affected. When their interest is affected. Now, how is interest affected? If their reliance, the benefits is supposed to achieve in that particular entity as a stoker did not come, which the key player will have revolted for, they will not revolt. They will not kick against it. Why? There's something bringing them back or taking them back. Probably ethics, probably age, probably religion, probably a pledge, like in police force of Nigeria, who has pledged to save life and property of the citizenry. You know, when things happen, they can negotiate behind the bar, but not to take action like you want to strike, you want to embark on industrial action, and so on and so forth. Now, with that, the entity need to make something that will be covering their interest. That's what you should unmute to reduce the interference, please. Okay. I mean that the management will have to take care of these people so that they will not be moved to the wall and become a key player. That will keep them satisfied. If we use something, do something that affect their interest, try to initiate palliative so that it will actually cool them down. Like in a few years back, the medics, people in the medical sector, they hardly go on strike. But like 10 years back, they go on strike too, and we can see the effects. Patients lost their life, some of them their condition worsened, and so on and so on. And that's why they don't want to go on strike in the beginning, because their own profession is to save life. So that's why I say you should keep them satisfied. So the third environment in the quadrant is the keep informed. Keep informed. Keep informed, they will have loved to use their power. They are always interested to use their power whenever anything affects their interest. Unfortunately, the power is not there. Unfortunately, the power is not there. However, if you don't have that power, if you don't do something to keep them busy, to make them busy, they can lobby people that have power. They can lobby people that have power, then they will revolt against the management of the entity. By so doing, what is expected of management is to inform them whenever the share is yet to be made. If we check our times in the universities, polytechnics, and so on and so forth, whenever the council of the school says they want to make anything, any move against the student interest, they will inform the student union leaders so that they will not engineer other students to take action against the management of the school. We then carry them along, you will see Aluta Continua, Victoria, Asata. So because they have been informed by them, executive cycle, they are not as much as the student body. Before they make anything, you call them. Say, okay, they no, don't worry. We are going to talk about it. Is it school that they increase? Is it water is not available? Let's go talk to VC. Let's talk to rector and the rest of them like that. So immediately they are informed, you have covered that track of revolting against the decision of the entity. That what it refers to as keep informed. Keep informed. The last of the group is minimal effort. The last of the group is minimal effort. Meaning that the entity's management does not need to worry too much about them whenever they make a decision. Even when things affect their interest, they're not even willing to revolt. And even when they want to revolt, they don't have any power to revolt. Now, this group are named like this. They don't have a permanent nomenclature with any level of a stakeholder. It's dependent on scenario or type of the entity. What am I saying? The majority of companies, they are into production of goods and services. The drivers, the cleaners might be minimal effort. Even when they resign, you can continue your job. I want to get another one by a single call. You need one cleaner or one driver before the close of the day. You have like 10 of them, then you choose. Meaning that you don't have problem in replacing them. And to themselves, they don't even want you to sack them. So that's why I said they don't have power. And because they know they are going to be benefiting by staying with that entity, they are no interest. They want to win to change your decision. Now, as I was saying, you cannot say that always drivers, cleaner are minimal effort. They can be key players. Any transport company in Nigeria, their key players are the drivers. Without the drivers, the work cannot go on. Without the drivers, the work cannot go on. So that is why we said maintenance practice as the group of the stakeholders into four cannot be tagged with some particular set of stakeholders. We cannot say that management are always the key player or drivers are always the minimal effort. In some circumstances, drivers can be key players. In some circumstances, the consumer, the buyers might be the key players. In some circumstances, the buyer or consumer might be keep informed or minimal effort. Invariably, consumer too can become a key player. Consumer too, I mean supplier too can become a key player. Suppliers of some circumstances can become minimal effort, depending on the circumstances. Whether they are key players, they are keep satisfied, they are keep informed, or they are minimal effort. Scenario will tell us what is happening in that particular entity. So that one take that particular position. Then we can move to environmental analysis. Environmental analysis. Now, individually or as a group or company, we are surrounded by environment and we surround environment too. We are surrounded by environment and we surround environment too. As a result of this, the factors in the environment, which can be systemic or unsystemic, it can be macro or micro, will affect the interest, the finance, the objective of your entity positively or negatively. Environment can change and can bring a virtue for the entity. Things can change in environment and bring doom to the entity. In the legal environment in Nigeria, there are things that actually happen in Nigeria for the last 5 years, and some are going to be happening starting from the next year that can actually impact seriously on the finances of an entity. It can impact seriously on the finance of the entity. If you didn't remember anything, now we are going to remember the new tax tax laws. It's going to have serious impact on the finances of entity as from January next year. Vis-a-vis payment of tax, vis-a-vis income flow to the consultants. That's an after. Myself and yourself, we know what happened in the last few years concerning Naira and dollar. Those are changes in the environment. So as it affects you personally, it affects the company too, the entity. It affects the entity like that too. And it does not matter how long or how short. It can change its oven, it can go forward and reverse. Some of them will never reverse. We are coming to Pestel. Some of them will never reverse. And for us to show that things can change by blink of eyes. If you have not happened to you before, try to sleep like 5 minutes in a moving vehicle. You are not the driver. If you are not the driver, try to sleep like 5 minutes, then wake up. It will be as if where you are going is where you are coming from. That is a personal thing. And we know how long does it take BlackBerry to enjoy that ping me, give me your pin, pay for it before you get, before WhatsApp came over and erode everything. Within 1 year, that investment went underwater. That investment went underwater. Things like that can happen. So when we say there are systemic factors in the external environment, we are still coming to internal environment anyway. In the external environment, those are the factors that are big and you cannot have control on. The entity does not have control on that factors. We refer to them again as macro factors. Macro factors, or in the macro environment. The other factors are unsystemic. They are the micro, the one that happen within the environment. They happen within the environment. So as a result of that, you can have some changes on them. You can control some of them. Like organizations sustaining too much bad debt in their business. They can control that. Don't sell on credit again. They cannot say that we don't want rain, we don't want flood, we don't want sun, we don't want inflation, we don't want hike, and so on and so forth. So that is the area we need to juxtapose under environmental analysis that is external. It's external. So business are influences, individual are influences by what happened in the environment. Now, to study external environment, there are many tools that can be used. There are many tools that can be used. But what we are going to start with, which is one of the oldest tools or model for analysis, is Pestel. In the early age or early years, it used to be known as PEST. PEST, that is P-E-S-T. Before label and ecology was added to make it Pestel. So Pestel is a collection of acronyms that explain external factors in external environment of an entity. External factors in external environment of an entity. So those collection of factors is what we arrange as Pestel. P as in political, E as in economic, S as in social, E as in ecology or ecological, and L as in legal. We have political, we have economic, we have social, we have technological, we have ecological, and we have legal. We have legal. Each of these have a way of impacting on the environment and the finances of a company, or rather on the achievement of business objectives of the entity. Now, let's take them one by one. Political environment. Before we go to take them one by one anyway, each of these factors can be positive in its effect to any entity and can be negative in effect to any entity. It does not mean that in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of factors, political is positive, economic is negative. It doesn't come like that. Political can be positive for an entity, it can be negative for another entity. Technology can be positive for some other entity, it can be negative for another entity. So that is how it is. So when we say political, what do we call political? When we say economic, what is economic? When we say social, what is social? That's what we want to see. And how does it affect environment? So how does it affect the environment? Another thing is that you have economic. If you check some literature, economic factors can be seen in some literature as political factors. Depends on how they see it. But to cut the story short, when you see something like tax, it can come political, it can come economic. But to make it clearer to us now, when you see tax as rate, it is more of economic than politics. Tax rate. see it as a, when you say tax policy, it becomes something that is political. It's something that is political. So you can take that like that. Then, as another professor, when you have anything rate, make it as economic factor. Anything rate, make it as economic factor. So when you say political, what is political? There are many things you can see as political in factors, like changes in government, election, war, government stability, instability, and so on and so forth. So this one can be positive or negative to any entity. For instance, a company was given license by government of Nigeria, or by government anyway, to handle basic food products for population about 150 million for good 80 years. I said this because almost everybody consumed the food. And the only person that supplied those food in that country of about 150 million. There's no way that company will not make it. Very difficult. So when the policy can make something good for some people, and others that are denied the activities, the privilege in that country, they will suffer. That's why you see many big companies, they associate themselves with the ruling power. They associate themselves with the ruling powers. So that is for government. In war, how will a company benefit from war? Because we said that factors can be positive, it can be negative. Some company, what they sell, what they produce is ammunition, meaning that they will treat well when there is war. They're not going to make sale when you have peace. Stability in government, election for instance, there are different stakeholders, different people, different opportunities during the time of election. For instance, hospitality industry, they enjoy their influence when you have conferences in those places. In some years back, hotel accommodation were booked full, 100% full capacity in Abuja for some days. Before one political party actually have profit, before they finish, another political party has come. So they are as if that regime will not end. Again, you have printers, you have advertisers who make their money pre-election. During the election, other people get their income. INEC were very busy. Ad hoc staff, they are very busy making money. Then subsequent to the election, another set of people, another set of company, another set of business people will get their money. The lawyers, from tribunal to high court to appeal court to Supreme Court. So meaning that each of these factors can be positive or can be negative, depending on how we see it, or how when the entity prepared for it. Then, leaving political for the next set of factors, we have economic factors. We should not forget, we said that anything you see as rate is determined, is seen as economic factors, meaning that tax rate, exchange rate, interest rate, inflation rate, all of them are economic factors, including others like general rising in price, inflation, like general growth in the industry. There are still economic issues too, like boom in the industry or doom as the case might be. All those ones, they are economic reasons. Here, they can affect a company positively, another company negatively. Now, if I may ask now, when there is increase in exchange rate against a company currency, between these two dealer, Who will have a profit, who will have a loss? Who will enjoy, who will lose? Exporter or importer? For instance, Nigeria, Naira fall against dollar. Exporter in Nigeria benefit or they lose? Importer in Nigeria benefit or they lose? Any response? Hello? I hope the network has not.
Importers lose.
Okay, oh. You said?
We can hear you,
Exporters
sir.
lose.
Exporter gain, importer lose. Exporter will gain. Anyway, you already recognize that one is going to gain, one is going to lose. That's why I said in the beginning that none of these factors can be seen as positive factor. It depends on how the entity prepare for it or where does it met the entity. For instance, now, you are importer of shoes, clothes, or any other thing. Before, when you have your 4 million, you go into Italy or UK, you bring goods down. Plenty of them you make profit. But now with your 10 million, you buy things that are not much, transport will erode all your profit. But for exporter, when you export small things, you are coming in down with big money because of the exchange rate. People that work abroad, you will think that they will make all the money because they pay them in dollars. They can easily change to naira and become a Nigeria. So that is the extent of that. The same thing with the exchange rate. You agree on you agree on a fixed rate or a flexible rate, independent. So when you say let's go with flexible rate, meaning that when the thing goes up or come down, you are at the same level. Okay, let's go on fixed. You fix. Interest go up or come down. Somebody will lose, a borrower or the lender. Now, when you fix an interest, 20%, 50% in finances, you want to get finance for your entity, but the interest is fixed. So subsequently, few months after, the interest rate go up or come down. Who will lose? When interest rates go up, the lender loses, the borrower gain, and vice versa. Because now you see that the interest have moved from 18% to 25%. The borrower will be paying more to the lender, but because you have fixed it, you will still pay the same amount. Lender will be gaining, will be happy that he enjoying a lesser cost of capital. Is enjoying a lesser cost of capital. If you're able to get that, you can use others now as a sample like that. When the economy booms, there is a growth subsequently in the industry. Every participator or participant in the industry will enjoy growth too. But when there is economic doom in some specific industry, it costs across the world. Now, what happened in 2008 to stock market in the world? Some people left stock broking. After that, they didn't go back there. It's okay. Everything is okay. So some people left the industry and they never come back up to today. Why? Because the doom in the market affected them badly. It affected them very, very badly. So that is similitude of how economic factors in the external environment affect entity positively or negatively. Now we can move to the next one, which is social. Social factors are very many. Very many. We have trend. We have seasons or weather. We have fashion. We have taste. We have what they call age grade, demography, and so on and so forth. Batch control, population control, all these are social factors. They can affect function of a company or even a country positively or negatively. For instance, when there is control in the birth, what do you call this one now? Birth control. Family plan, that's the English I was looking for. When people refuse, say we are not going to give more than one child. What is the fortune of private school? What is the fortune of private nursery and primary school? When there's no children to enroll, you can take it from there. People that produce diapers, what is their fortune? People that produce company that produce toys, what is their fortune? They are no children. And that is the beginning. The industry generally too, in the few years to come like that, 10, 15 years, 20 years, there'll be problem in labor. Labor rate will go up. And for us to be clear, practically, few years, some country of the world, they are looking for people to flow into their country. Why? In few years back, they've controlled their population. Now we have only aged men and women who is going to work in the industry, who will go work in the factory, who is going to work on the farm. These are just few examples. It's not limited to that one, no. Because as you have old people, you will have more people retiring. You don't have more people to work for you than people are retiring. You need to pay the retirement benefit. Who is going to pay for that? Where are you going to see the money to pay for retirement benefits? That's why you see those countries say, just come, we're going to take you, just come, we're going to take you. Another very large country, they introduced a policy in some years back. When you get married, the couple should not give birth to more than one child. That because their population is much. It does not take them more than a few years to know that this is dangerous. Truly, at the beginning, the population were afraid of becoming down. Then, in the 35 to 50 years, more than 75 or 60% of that population will be aged people who is going to work for them in their industry. Then they reframe what they are wanting. Now they can give back to two. At least they can maintain the population around the same age. Now some of many of them, they will flow or will fly from their country to our country. Our country where many other people is even flying away. Jackpot syndrome. Can you believe that some people are doing jackpot to Nigeria? It might not make some sense to us, but that is the reason. Last year somebody was happy. Nationality of another country was happy because Nigeria nationalized him. They get nationality of Nigeria and they're happy. They are from another country of this world. They were happy because they are making it more in Nigeria. So it's how we look at things in the external environment. Opportunity abounds and there are threats. Opportunity abounds in the environment and the threat is dependent on how will a company see these factors and how can we benefit from them more. Social factors. Age affects business too. Age affects business. At some ages, there are some things you will not eat. Where you have very young and active people, eatery sells a lot because you can eat anything, you can drink anything. Where you have aged people from 50 above, they'll be cautioning people, don't eat this, don't eat this, carbonated drinks, don't eat, flour too much, don't eat, junk, don't eat. How are they going to make themselves? So meaning that age too affect the business. Entities should look forward to this. Another thing in social environment is about law, ethics, or religion in the environment. Some companies they thrive well in the southern part of Nigeria. If I may mention Nigerian breweries, Omeashoro, Elisha, they make fortune from selling of beers. Can you say that if the same company is located in Sokoto State, it will make a fortune? Can you even get that location first? Can we be established there first? It's not part of social things. So you want to advise your clients who just want to launch another product in a particular state, check the external environment first. Vis-a-vis the population, vis-a-vis the legal, the social environment, vis-a-vis the number of the type of people. I was working with somebody last week. He was calling somebody. They are going to maybe a crusade or like I got something like that in Guarimpa. He just said, I hope you are not wearing trousers. So and you have your airtime, meaning that in that church, you don't go there with your trousers. So when you have people who don't believe, you don't show you want to be selling women trousers, nobody will buy. These are part of the example of the trend in the social environment. And because of the time, let's leave that one small and move to technology. Technology. Technology has a peculiar problem. The problem is non-reversal. Technology might actually take a time before it comes. In 2, 3, 4, 5 years, might not see any changes. Whenever you see that changes, they hardly reverse. You see that changes, they hardly reverse. Myself and yourself cannot be hoping that there won't be Android again. We go back to button 3G phone. Can anybody think like that? Myself and yourself cannot be thinking that we will cancel automatic transmission engine for vehicles and we go back to manual. It's not, is it not done anywhere? So when technology comes, it does not reverse. We just mentioned about population now. They can reverse it. Okay, no population control again. No, government will sponsor your food. Okay, season no is one affecting our business. Really, that's part of the social anyway. Running season, cold drink does not sell. Give it 6 months. You go back to dry season. People that are selling pure water, selling soft drink, the business will boom again, and vice versa. You are selling sweater at the dry season, at the hot season, no market for you. Wait for the next 5 months. Nothing like that is there for technology. It comes like this, it stay permanent. In some years back, there's nothing like computer in Nigeria. I remember then when we were in secondary school or primary school, then our teachers, they would send us to bank with passbook. Somebody will go to the shelf to carry a file, they will check, money has not come. Because somebody from the bank they pay, they will carry that particular teller, or there's a name they call it now, passbook, the sheet, and carry to this bank because it has happened. Computer came. Did they reverse back? No. We will not reverse back. Myself and yourself, we know that a phone producer was popular, GSM was popular in Nigeria, 2006, 7, 8, 9. Everybody have it, including conductors. Even when you are traveling, you don't need to carry your charger. I don't want to mention names. But what happens subsequently? If anybody have it now, it's either have it as the other phone, my second phone, or my smaller phone. Because of what? Technology. Because of technology. And the one that actually be a market follower before, when that phone was a market leader, then they become the market leader in that industry. Why? In technology come, they call Android. I didn't accept that in the beginning. It went to Windows, then came back to the same Android. So it become not as popular as it was before. That is effect of technology. Now, we have other example for technology. It can be positive, as you mentioned, it can be negative. In some years back, there are some different business that are being operated differently. Maybe when we are discussing in congruence, industry convergence, we're going to discuss things like that, or international dimension of business. Those business are separate set of business before. Now they have become business under one umbrella. In some times back, photography is a different industry, a different business. We have business center where people type, they type, they do photocopy, another thing. There is a center they send fax. You want to send documents, you need to fax it. You want to browse, you go to cyber cafe to browse, not in your house. To tell you that you are a big boy in those days, you are proud to say that you browse overnight because you bought 3 hours, 10, 11, 12, 1, and they give you bonus of 2 hours. If anybody tell you that I browse in the cyber cafe over the night, you say, oh boy, you cannot even afford to buy 2 gig data. Why? Technology has immersed that thing into single umbrella, under single umbrella. With your phone, you can type letter, you can send message, you can snap yourself, you can send a photo, you can do fax, you can do anything. You can listen to radio, you can communicate with your friend internationally, even send yourself. The only enjoyment you can enjoy with the Skype in those days, I still remember up to 2007 and 8. It's only Skype you can enjoy video calling. Now it has come under one umbrella. Our banks enjoy more because of technology. You can see, myself, I say, you see that we have this number of tellers in banks nowadays because you can carry out this assignment within the scope of your house because of technology. So as it affects some people positively, it affects some people negatively. So bank make more money and some people suffer unemployment. Even when they want to inform you that they have a particular product, you are still going to pay for that. They send you SMS for their product, it's still going to charge you 4 naira, now 6 naira. So where technology actually raised, whichever company does not prepare for arrival of technology or does not take the advantage immediately, their finances will suffer. Their profit will suffer. To attain the target goal or objective will be difficult. That is why external environment is important to manage strategically the finance of any entity. It's very, very important. So there are many examples like that. Travel agency, bureau de change, transportation, hospitality industry, like that. They make a lot of fortune from changing in technology. The one we are doing now is an advantage to some of us. I mean, online lectures. In some years back, we didn't know anything about Zoom, Google Meet. Even the earlier that came that time was video conferencing by MTN. All those ones have been eroded by new technology. By arrival of COVID-19, Zoom became popular, and that will give rise to all other ones. And like that. So any opportunity, any factors in the external environment can be positive and it can be negative. It's that way. You take it like that. Now the next one is ecological factor. Now ecological factors were not separate when Pestel was pest. That's what we learned in secondary school or our undergraduate before the overgraduate we are doing now. Now, pest means political, economic, social, and technology. The issue of ecology has not been recognized yet. But now that it is clear that activities of companies, industry affect the environment badly, there are provisions for entity to take care of the environment. There are provisions for the entity to take care of the environment. That's why we have ecological issues. So you have law against carbon emission, against pollution, either air pollution, water pollution, and the rest of them like that. I hope you don't have solution in your notes. What's supposed to have there is pollution. Is pollution. In some countries, whenever you want to establish manufacturing companies, the first question is that are hope those products are eco-friendly. If otherwise, is that you are disallowed or you are giving very high tax or a limit of what you can produce at a particular time. I remember in a particular country, an automobile company was contracted to produce vehicles. The agreement is that our environment is already saturated. We don't want smoke. The first set of automobile was produced and delivered to the country. They fired the automobile and there are white smoke. Oh boy, we say there's no smoke. That's why it's not dangerous. This is white smoke. Our agreement is that we don't want smoke. We don't want smoke. So in ecological environment, it restricts production of things, selling of things that can debase the environment, that affect the environment negatively. So that's why we have laws that restrict selling or production of some things we have high tax on some material that can actually give rise to more evils in this ecological environment, like erosion, like pollutions. We know what that one means, global warming. So that is that our ecological. Then the last one is legal. There are some laws that were established that will deem to say that they make work difficult. They make achievement of objective difficult for some companies. Let's come like this before you actually change this one. International labor law, which is updated in many countries, including Nigeria, they did not discriminate in your employment because somebody is a male or a female, or because of the person's religion, and so on and so forth. If you are a construction company, electrical company, that you build masts or street lights, that's what you consider done. I want to employ 10 more staff to assist you in the mounting of those masts. What I mean by masts is all those gadgets that telecommunication company use. They build that tall, having something like drums on top. From those 10, how many female will you employ? How many female will you employ? Give yourself the answer. That is one. Another one is health and safety rules, which entity should follow. The one I just mentioned now is about equality legislation. Do not give preference to somebody because of his sex or gender, because of gender or religion or things like that. So if where you want to use them, that thing is a very great event, how will you make it? How will you do? So there are many things that affect the companies in that particular regard. Now, I think we will pause for about 10 minutes now so that we can actually refresh and go to the next set of model. Later.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We are going on break for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Our Oga will be back shortly. So thank you so much for the insight, sir. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, sir. How the network today is better.
Yes, very much better, sir. Very much.
Thank you.
Better. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, good evening once again. We just our guy will be back shortly, and we just need to give him 10 to 15 minutes. He will join us shortly, right? So, and we all could see the difference that it is beyond reading from Park. This is practical, and that is what we actually offer at Next Gen Professional Associate, so that when you see a case scenario, you can be able to apply this model. It is not all about reading the model. It is all about the application. Oh, you understand the environment. You understand the external environment. Can you apply it in a case scenario? And we should guess what? Oga have so many case scenario from different, either ACCA, from every other aspect that he will bring to the table, that I believe that when we start, when you start all this scenario, then you will know that yes, this is also applicable in practice. It is not all about reading the what is it called, the model, rather it is all about the application of the model. So we'll wait just 15 minutes, then Oga will be back shortly. Thank you. If you have questions for Oga, just keep it right. When he comes back, he will actually attend to you. Thank you so much, everyone. Do we have anyone that wants to say one or two things? Do we have? Hello? Okay, okay, that's fine. So we'll just wait for 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you. We'll be back shortly. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Have a good evening. Okay. I want to assume preferably that we are still together. I see numbers of us are not back, but at least some people are on ground. So let's continue with where we stop. The last model, with the second model we discussed is Pestel. We say the set of acronyms that were developed from the old PEST: political, economic, social, and technology. Before law, which is legal, was pulled out of political factors, and ecological factors was established. In some literature, the other E can be seen as environmental. Can be seen as environmental. Environmental factors are the same thing or close to what we discussed in ecology. But because we are already dealing with external environment generally, the wonder environment was not too specifically shifted or limited to that particular area. So ecological factor is more appropriate. Now, I see many of the literature we identify it as ecological factors. In some literature, we see it as environmental factors. Other factors too, they are environmental in nature. So in Pestel, there are some other offshoots from technology that can still impact finances of an entity or achievement of their objectives. Finances of the entity or achievement of that entity objective. We're going to receive two of them. We're going to discuss two of them shortly before we move to the next model. Before we move to the next model. So the offshoot of that technology, we have industry convergence and international dimension of business. Industry convergence and international dimension of business. Both are built on the development of technology. For instance, industry convergence seems that surrounding some factors, companies, business that already been established, run by different entities, different individuals have come to under one umbrella. They have come to under one umbrella. So the first factors, which is external factors, affect that particular system of industry, whether positive to some and negative to some, is technology. It wouldn't have been easy for one entity. We just mentioned about phone the other time, to have call, which we make is a separate entity before. In Nigeria, we only all have Nitel line, and the phone cannot be moved around. You want to make call, you go to the center, you go to Nitel, you buy. You want to actually make photocopy, scanning, you go to the center. You want to make photography, you go to photo studios. And nowadays, people, they even smart, they even snap photographs more than before. How many people patronize photo studio, except on very special occasions. Except on very special occasions. So those business has come to under one umbrella. In those days, if somebody want to travel, you go to embassy to secure visa. You need to secure a traveling ticket by go to any airline. When they get there to the airport or from the airport, you need to hire a car to convey him or her. When he reaches destination, you need to book hotel and so on and so forth. But nowadays, approach to traveling agents, one contact can solve all this problem. Meaning that those industry, that companies separate before, they are come under one umbrella. That is what we see as technology aiding different companies coming under one umbrella. At times, it may be because of production that increase the scope of that particular entity. For instance, if you see people that do passport nowadays, those photographers, as they hang their camera, you will see them with computer, laptop, then you will see them with a printer. So those things that produce that camera, see the importance in producing the computer to develop, instead of carry it to a laboratory to develop the film, they make it digital. On the computer, it is adjustment. I have a printer to print. Not like going to another photo lab to go and print like they used to do in 80s or even part of the early 90s. So production too can go a lot of extent in that environment. Then another one is that myself and yourself, we can be the cause of convergence of this industry. Unfortunately, I was thinking that when we have telephone, internet, we have more time because we say it makes things faster, which is faster. So the time we save, where are they? So myself and yourself, you don't want to go to different places to buy different things. You want to go into a supermarket to buy everything you want, including cooked foods. We call that one demand pool or consumer pool. It's because of consumer. You want to serve a consumer with anything. We have, I don't want to mention names, different long chain of shops in Nigeria today. Some of them I knew the developmental history, especially in Abuja here. Why I met them, they sell soap and other small provision, then Ankara as a cloth, then rice, chicken. Today, they sell almost everything. Because you don't want to be going from one place, you want to enter, but because you don't have time. I don't have time. You don't have time. Nobody have time. The rich and the poor. Because you don't want you to go to where you go to get every day, so they have everything. Talk about baby things, they have kitchen things, they have electronics, they have electrical, they have furniture, they have cooked foods, they have soft drinks, they have hard drinks, they have perfume, they have top of anything. Live animals I've seen, live animals, including dog. The only thing I know, I didn't see that the way they are selling human being. I've not seen that one, either in whole or in part. So meaning that because myself and yourself, we want a one-stop shop for everything. So they should be because that, okay, let's bring all this type of business under one umbrella, including government. Including government. If in Nigeria, we have what they call one-stop shop for investment. You want to run your company, you go to CAC, you want to do your thing, you go to tax office. You know, you want to come from abroad to register business, you get to develop. One office is okay for you. They will do everything. So that's another one-stop shop for investment in Nigeria. It happens everywhere in the world, whether private or public. So that is what it refers to as industry convergence. Industry convergence. So it can be majorly because of technology that makes that easy. We can actually go into production. This one is what I produce, but let me produce. Nigeria Porter company came to Nigeria basically to some things, Coca-Cola and Fanta. Now they are producing water, table water. They produce juice because it relates. So you can go into production. You can go because you want more. I want everything in the same place. Then they establish that. So that is what we refer to as industry convergence. Industry convergence. Another short one is international dimension of business, which is based on technology too. It is based on technology too. But while we are growing, there are some products that were attached to some states or to some nation. You don't buy them in your own local market. You don't have access to where you can buy them. And when you see that particular type of thing, they say, okay, your brother went or came back from somewhere or something like that. Even you can have, we still have the shadow of those things. Up to though they are not really like that again because of technology. You hear people say, I can get bread. But then you don't see that kind of bread in your environment. I say you travel to Lagos. That is what is saying, I can get bread. Nowadays, you can be in the cocoon of your office, just like you are now, and access your market. You are accessing now ICANN education in the coffin of your office or your home. In those days, it was not like that. We have to go to classes every day with our biro and pen. Either you copy a note or even the lecturer dictate for you in the class. It took us more hours. Monday to Friday, 6 to 9 every day. On Saturday, 8 to 9. On Sunday, 9 to 9. Because we want to write, we want to pass ICANN. The technology have made things easy now. You can be here studying abroad. You can be in London studying in Nigeria if you have anything to study anyway. You have anything to come to study in Nigeria. As other part of the world like that. Why? Because of technology. So business can go international. People sell things. I've bought many things in China. I've never been to China before. Including recently. Because we have access to that particular market because of technology. Now, this one have its pros or cons too. They have their advantages and disadvantages. Number one, if you want to actually access international markets, notwithstanding your sales can go up, you should prepare for international competition. You should prepare to abide by international laws. In some circumstances, it might be negative impact on an entity if you are not prepared, you have not prepared well. In other circumstances, when you have international business, especially where you have business multinationals, when they arrive in a country, it seems that they want to squander or kill the local industries. I will not mention name in Nigeria. You've seen many. Local industries that do the same thing, they don't have a role to play in that industry again. They will squander them. So in some countries that government say, okay, I don't want to develop, I want to protect my local industry. They don't allow international companies to come and dominate their markets. But where they know that that international company will develop their market, they give them soft landing. In the beginning of, I think the early 80s, you know, there's some early 80s or late 80s, early 90s, no, early 90s, I think they cleared that schools. I remember there are some soft drinks that we have then, since Dr. Pepe, Africola. If any of us are aware of that, Dr. Pepe or Africola, they are no more because of competition of some bigger company that came from outside of Nigeria. And some other examples are banned. So in those circumstances, government might not want those particular type of companies to come and kill their local industry, including construction companies. Check your local construction company, check the foreign one. Fortunately, unfortunately, some of them, they are not even big in their countries. I can say up till now, they are not big in their country. I have some testimony to that. You ask them that name, half of that name in their country don't know it. So that's that. So when they actually come to your nation, it can be a problem, but it can still be a blessing. So it depends on what do we have. In some nations too, you have people that protest, they don't even want them at all. So, but in other country where they want their local company to go abroad and go and operate, they can give them a lot of support. And it might be difficult for the local company to fight or to compete with them. I actually set a sample of, because we are here now, I may not mention names. In their countries, we are going to another country to go and establish. They will give you loan to pay back in 25 years. How is that? And they will give you like 10 years moratorium. The next 10 years, don't thinking of paying anything. Continue fighting them until you get grant. And you can give them 1% or 2% interest. Can that one happen? Can that one happen in Nigeria? Do you see any loan unless a grant from government, from any bank, either government bank or money deposit bank, or even industrial banks that gives loan with 2% interest, or give you even 3 years or 5 years moratorium to pay back? But because the government wanted to go and establish another country, they give them those support as much as that. So meaning that in international dimension of business, there are involvement of governments. There are involvement of government. So meaning that the government of the country, the local country, can support the foreign company or can frown against them depending on the general results at the synergy level. Then the country of origin too, if it's an advantage to them, they will support their company going out to establish in another country, especially if they're going to them too. If support with anything, go and establish there and repatriate the money back into our country. Repatriate the money back into the country. So, national dimension of business goes in this. Technology is involved, government is involved. Maybe because of availability of increase in the production of those things and acceptance of those things across the world. Notwithstanding, it makes things easy for the consumer. You can search across the globe for what you are looking for. You should not forget the danger in the cyber environment too. Danger in the cyber environment. So companies should look towards this, that to secure the e-environment, it is necessary to. You should not forget, managing finances strategically involve all this. It involves all this. So you actually see towards the checking of disadvantage and advantage of international dimension too. Vis-a-vis involvement of technology. Vis-a-vis involvement of technology. I think that is the cover for those short developmental model from involvement of technology. Any question from here before we move to the next model? Any question?
Thank you so much, sir. Please, if you have your question, you can ask before we move on. If you have question, please you can ask. Right. So please ask your question. Thank you.
So let me pause for 60 seconds. If there are no question, meaning that okay. For next 60 seconds.
Okay, sir. That's
okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I think the next model is from Michael Porter. The next model is from Michael Porter. We going to discuss, at least just last class, we mentioned something about Porter too, in the level of strategy we call business strategy, where we're trying to advise us on the strategy you can use to compete favorably So we should use those two strategies for our business strategy: cost leadership and differentiation. Produce and sell at the least cost possible in the market so that you can lead others in that particular market. If that one is not there for you, you don't have access to cheap raw materials, you don't have access to cheap labor, you can do differentiation. Differentiation is the other method or strategy that Porter introduced to fight competition. So that is making it unique. If it's not you, it is not you. If it's not ICANN, as far as accounting is concerned in Nigeria or that part of the world, if it's not ICANN, others may not be able to compete very well in this industry. So that is Michael Porter. So we have Porter Daimond as the next model. Porter Daimond as the next model. Michael Porter is not a goldsmith. I know it's not a miner that mines diamond. It is arrangement of those factors which he put in place after long time of deliberation of why did or why is it that a product, a company was so popular and attached to a particular region of the world without any other one able to overtake it. What strategy are they using? What management parameter does it exist? What factor do they have that others did not have? So that's what his thinking was all about. And I would say that, okay, I didn't mean we are actually asked now. The best wine, which country can you get it from? If you can get answer, let me ask them together. Best wine from which country? Best wristwatch or watch generally from which country? Best leather material is from which
From
country?
Switzerland.
Thank you, Switzerland, for watch. Wine. Best wine, France. Best cars in the world of today.
Germany.
Okay, good. So what about leather materials? Leather material like
Italy.
shoes, belts, Italy. So why are they? Those countries have been sitting like that. Those products have been sitting like that for donkey of years or cow of years, if there's English like that. Why is it that the other nations are unable to overtake them? That was the thinking of Michael Porter. Before he was actually annex those things, say, okay, this is likely to be the cost. This is likely to be. So arrangement of those factors that make those products and nations popular across the world over the range in that cluster they call Daimond. What I'm saying here on the screen is not very clear to me. I don't know whether it's as big or as clear to you like that. Those factors are arranged in corners. In some literature, you have it happen exact shape of the diamond. That is why it is called Porter Daimond. Now, we said I'm agreeing now that, okay, good, I can see better now. Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. I can see better. We call this that you have strong cast from Germany. We have bed leather products from Italy. We have wine, a big rich watch and a clock like that from Switzerland. Wine from France. Okay. What is the best in Nigerian produce? Nigeria is best at what? Across the world. We're talking about this product, Nigeria. Anyone? What are those products that Nigeria is known with across the globe? Any idea?
Corruption.
Hi, Nigeria. Any other one?
Is that product?
Crude oil.
What again?
Crude oil.
Crude oil. Thank you very much. Good Nigerian. Any other one? Okay, let's start from our nation. Nigeria is one of the best oil producing country in the world. That is one. Nigeria is known with that. Talking about sportsmen in the world, Nigeria would take good position. Talking with medics across the globe, Nigeria will take top position. Talking about
Musical industry.
computing, sir.
Music industry.
Thank you. Music industry, Nigerian things. So Nigeria is not. Somebody say corruption. Nigeria is not the worst country in corruption. Nigeria is not the worst. 2018, I was facilitating for a section of senior staff of, don't mention the name of the agency. Part of this, it was about taxation of e-commerce anyway. Part of the paper I will present involved cyber issues, which are the country to be afraid when you want to actually pay money and you see the address in your browsing Chrome or something like that, your search engine. You see the immediately drop from the best, though Nigeria is not that, from the 12 ones across the globe, Nigeria was not there. Among the worst 12, Nigeria was not there. And I know that some countries are worse than Nigeria in corruption up to today. So Nigeria will see how better things that we produce. Talking about human brain, human being, human capacity, Nigeria is elite. Talking about crude oil, Nigeria is elite. Talking about cassava, Nigeria is elite. Talking about cocoa, Nigeria is elite, and so on and so forth. There are some things that is beneficial that Nigeria can actually do. That one, notwithstanding, my computers try to establish why are these things like this? Why are these things like this? Now, it's time to arrange those factors in group of four. In group of four. That's why we see that arrangement like that. In that four corner, the corner of the shape of the diamond. That's why they call it Porter's diamond. We call it Porter's diamond. Now, the way that I take it, okay. Let me take it from the top. We have farm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Clockwise, we have demand condition. We have related and supporting industry, and we have factor condition. Let me take it from the top. Farm strategy, structure, and rivalry. We mentioned the time that before you compete, that is rivalry anyway. Rivalry is about competition. Before you compete, you must have your strategy. You must have your strategy, and you got to structure your entity within that line of strategy. That's why you have that one as farm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Somebody mentioned Germany as an example. I'm going to add Japan to it now. When you're talking about automobile, it's not one of the reasons that Germany are good in automobile. With someone is that at that time, initial age, there are many automobile industry in that country. We have Volkswagen, we have BMW, we have Mercedes-Benz, we have Porsche competing for the same environment. You should not forget, international dimension has not come that time. You need to move your car down. Now you can stay here, demonstrate how a car is produced. You see them on your YouTube, advertised to you from UK, from where, from Germany, from China. Then you have to bring it down here where you can see it. But why? These four entities compete within the same country. How well are you not going to do well? How well are you not going to do well? That. Then when automobile industry was started booming in Japan, there's no way they're not going to be good when they come outside. I can mention to you about 3 good products coming from the same Japan, that small country. You have Corolla, Toyota Corolla. In Corolla alone, you have Toyota Corolla. You have Toyota Carina here. You have Toyota Carina. You have Toyota Camry. You have Toyota Avalon. You have Sienna. You have Benz. The same Toyota. Oh, they leave Toyota alone. Go to Honda. Honda Accord. Honda Civic. Cross like that. Many of them competing for the same environment. Where you see competition, you see better output. Whenever you see competition, you always see better output. Check across the globe. Other countries that have one automobile, they cannot compete when they come to Nigeria by their sale. Even China just joined it recently. They have many automobile company in their country. So whenever you have competition, you have better output. That's what actually happened to the first environment. That is farm structure, strategy, and library. Farm structure, farm strategy, structure, and library. Second one, I want to move clockwise. Demand condition. There is a general saying, including in Nigeria, they will say charity begins at home. You are very good about what your consumer are demanding from you. You are always very good about what people are asking from you. There's no relationship, no friendship between you, ICANN candidates, and the lecturers, because they cannot do you a favor in your exam. The only thing they can do for you is let me understand and I can pass. So you're only looking for where and where they can give you what you're looking for. So they are always at the best because you put what they do. Now let me ask you a question now. You want to eat amala, in Abuja or Lagos. Which joint will you go? Yoruba joint, Calabar joint, Hausa shop. Which one will you go? You want to eat good amala? Okay, what you are thinking about that?
Yoruba
You want
joint.
to Yoruba wama? Good.
Yeah.
Good. You want to eat good akmu, the hard and hot one. Which restaurant will you go? Yoruba restaurant? Hausa restaurant?
Calabar.
The same thing. Talk about tuwo or masa, wena. Which restaurant will you go?
Hausa.
Good. Then the other is, why is he so like that? Why are they so good in it like that? Anything. That is their customer. That's what in those before before the world become a global village. That is what they do. They produce. There are people demanding of in their region or now in their country. As far as I know, in Yoruba land, in those days, they only have two food: pandedian and amala. Without that, nobody. You don't have that one. You don't have food. So they have to be good by force about it. A lady cannot get married without know how to prepare amala with begiri and ewedu. It's not ready for marriage. It's not set for marriage. So everybody have to be good in that particular industry. I have to actually mention this one too. When you to actually have all physical class, after the first and second class, we have a break before the talk time. I was at the reception where we have the secretary and the coordinators there. Somebody was going to, if you are familiar with a particular joint, I will not mention the name in who got there. So I say, I'm going there, it's a Yoruba joint. One lady say, Kai, I will have asked you to buy rice for me from there. He said, but Yoruba rice, no, they make sense. He said, I'm abused. Rice is not a traditional food for Yoruba. That is that. So let's pause like that now. What took us to this right that is demand condition. People are always good about what people are buying from them, what they want from them. And they produce over time, they become the best at that. And all of us understand what they call learning curve theory. Whenever activity doubles, production decision reduced by 20% because they are better at it. Now, we mentioned Germany the other time, but their car are strong. It was up to now, when cars have become fiber. Why? They say German people demand for strong automobiles. German people, they demand for strong automobiles. I cannot forget, you remember, or you've read, I was not there that time too anyway, Nigerian Civil War. When they are looking for cars to walk in desert, I used to find in desert, where they cannot see water. Which country do they go? Germany. That's why they have Volkswagen in Nigeria. They produce because they know that they have already developed a technology in strong vehicles, automobile. That particular car they call Volkswagen, the Japan, they call it Japan B2. There's no need to, no radiator, you don't put water. And if you check very well, the engine is not in the front. Because in desert you can actually hit stone, you can hit straw. Continue. So because we know that those people, they need strong automobile, the demand for strong things. Just mentioned the last time that a typical Igbo man will want is apple or eba. You know what they call it, Gary? To be strong. So taking sembo to somebody like that, like means you see, this is what is water. It will tell you that sembo is water. So that is what people demand. So whenever in that environment, people are accustomed and good to whatever people demand from them. That what actually make Germany cars strong. Because if you don't remember anything about Germany, you remember Adolf Hitler. And you know German companies that are in Nigeria today. You see how their output too are very, very good. That's what they are used to in their country. That's what they used to in their country. If they took light for any Nigerian who study abroad, you see a negative effect on him, he's used to it in Nigeria. Now they are in bigger environments and they're not going to lead them in the exam. Oh, but monkey, you that you use light, touch light of your phone to study in Icon class. You buy candle, everybody have touch light, even when they are old time, when they are even phone with light. People will come with rechargeable lamp, touch light to class, with generator to class. The that person will go abroad where you have light 24/7. You have library full of books. You have e-library, and they're not going to pass. They will lead others, they will follow, others will follow them. Anyway, that is that on demand condition. The next one, going clockwise, is related and supporting industry. So let's quickly round up this so that we can round up for today because of the time. Related and supporting industry. Meaning that there is common adage, the common balance too now, is used to say that a single broom is easy to break, but a collection of broom is difficult to break. It will fall together. So when you have in an environment cluster of companies that they have related source of raw material or cluster to source of raw material, or they can support each other in their production or services, like the end product of a particular company is immediate raw material for the others. We have what they call related and supporting industry. Let's take from an example from Nigeria before we go abroad. It is not commercial, if not for political purpose. It does not make economic sense for we to have oil in the south and bring it finally to Kaduna. Because one of the things that we look at is the proximity to raw materials. Then you need to transport crude oil from that place to Kaduna, just because we want to satisfy some political reasons, region satisfaction, like that. Economically, it does not make sense. So are they made there together? Okay. Why do Dangote bring his refinery to Lagos? Because Atlantic Ocean is the ocean that actually link the production of raw material and the water they use in the final output. It is easy. Within few time, the products are free, have arrived. If you want to ship, instead of laying kilometers and miles of pipe to transport the product. Anyway, that is that. We can actually see from our notes that we have our firms of technology, computer, hardware, software, and research institutes in America, for instance, West Coast of America. So it is easy for somebody to develop technology in that environment. Not in Nigeria, you study computers and computer engineering. You don't even enter computer lab up to 10 times. Not for you to know how it works. But there it is easy things. You can move from one area to the other. Let's take the last one because of the time, which is factor condition. This will say that factor condition basically can be divided into two. There are natural or basic factors. There are developed factors or advanced factors. So natural factors are the basic one that God endowed to that particular country. Whether you sabi or no sabi, you have them. Nigeria is one of the best oil producing countries. It's not because we produce crude oil. Crude oil is on our land as given by God. That is a factor. You know what they call production factor, no? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. So in our land, we have oil. God given. Talk about Germany producing strong cars. There is a lot of iron deposit. You can use it anyhow. We talk about France for wine because they have a good climate and weather. Let's come to Nigeria now. Outside people they eat kola nut much. The land does not support planting of kola. You have to go to the land to break kola nut. Somebody was challenging because I know in my local environment is export quote and unquote kola nut very well. He was challenging them, the Hausas. This goro, you said, what do you use it for now? You eat them? The man does not answer him. He asks another question. All those tomato that transport from north to south, those naman, what do you use them for? Say we eat them now. Yeah, the same thing. The same thing. So because you using it does not mean that it will produce well. So it's producing well in that environment because the factor, the climate, the weather, the soil encourage that. The environment of the north support grains. That one of the southwest support cocoa, and rest of them like that. It is like because God endowed that environment, we call it natural or basic factors. In other country, other part of the world, it will not be there like that. Nigeria consume apple very well. Which part of Nigeria can you grow it? And it does not even in commercial quantity. Only maybe a few places, maybe some area in Jos and Mambila and Adamawa. So we have to import them from the country that favors the growth of things like that. One of the other things we actually eat very well in Nigeria is dates. Debino. I don't see any commercial points of it anywhere in Nigeria. Anywhere I don't see. You have to go to desert, real desert, where those things can survive. So that is a factor condition and some other things like that. So you can have an advanced or developed factors too, like build a very big road, a very big and titanic road, if I want to mention it like that. Build some other infrastructures, bridge, houses, buildings, tall buildings. I was looking at a particular bridge somewhere. The bridge not across, it entered the water, the bridge entered the water and come out from that, enter it before you go out. How about that? Somebody would have loved to go there. So that is why in some 20 years back, we didn't hear anything about Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Because of development in the environment, it's becoming a way that everybody wants to go and visit. Before, you want to go for your visit across the world, you want to enjoy, go to America to go and see, what do you call this one now? Ben 10. Or go to Kenya to enjoy wild animals, like that. But they actually improve on the environment so that it can actually accommodate more people. So that is the scope of Porter's Daimond for today. Our time is fast spent, it's already 8 o'clock. So if you have few questions, you can entertain. Otherwise, we close to the day. It was part of the plan that I will have sent a scenario question to us. Probably before the next class, I will send us. So probably you will send your answer or we discuss it together during the next class. Thank you for your attention. Any question, one or two?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And we look forward to the scenarios. thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, and thank you too for the good network that we have today.
Thank God, sir.
It has worked a great magic.
Abby. So please.
It's more expensive anyway, but at least we enjoy the flow very well.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you so much. So please, yeah, thank you. Please, if you have your question, right? Please, if you have your question, you can raise your hand so that Oga can attend to your question quickly before we go. And if you don't have any question, Oga will come up with the scenarios, right? This is not theory. It's scenario based on what Oga has actually explained so far. I believe that we all have taken note of so many important points when Oga is actually explaining the models, right? We are still in strategic management, right? So we are going to still enjoy Oga more as we move as we move to the next model. Thank you so much, sir.
You're
We
welcome.
really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, sir. Okay, on this
Welcome.
note, I think we have to go since there's no question. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And
Thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir.